Hey, Brad. Thanks for taking a minute to talk to my class. Good to see you again. Um, Brad, you're a graduate of Ranken Technical College, and you went through the application and web development 2-year program, and so that's kind of you're an alumni, and that's how I know you. But why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the current class and to anyone else who's listening?
Okay, hey guys, hope you're having a good morning. So I came to Rankin after finishing up a music performance degree at Missouri State. I realized that the path of music as a profession was not going to work out for me, so I immediately started figuring out a tech school as a backup, and Rankin outshined everybody else. This was back when ITT Tech was still a potentially valid option, and we all know how they went. But I was super fortunate to pick Rankin and to go through the program, and I am very glad that I decided on the school. So without Rankin, I don't think I would be where I am today. So I've been developing for about 8 years now, and I recently just attained the rank of senior developer at my current job.
Awesome,
Uh,
congratulations.
Thank you.
So 8 years,
Uh,
so it's 2021, so take the eight off, so you graduated in, does that make it 13 then?
13, December 13.
Wow, you've been out since 13. Wow, that
Yeah.
time flies. That's awesome.
So that's just a brief overview of what I've been doing.
And so who do you work for?
Debt Commerce, we are a very smallish. We're getting to medium size now. But when I joined, we were maybe less than 30 employees. Now we're over 40, and we're steadily growing. And we're a order management software. That's our product we sell to customers. So someone that is very popular in the St. Louis area is Build-A-Bear. So they use our software to manage their orders. So for example, you place an order on their storefront. So you go to buildbear.com, buy a bear, and then as soon as you click submit order, that information gets sent down to our product. We consume that information, we process the credit card payment, and then we send the order information down to their warehouse to to say like, hey, you need to ship this set of bear products to this person. And so we connect essentially storefronts to warehouses and automate a lot of previously manual operations.
Wow, so Build a Bear is one client, but I imagine you have others.
New Balance shoes, we
Wow.
have their worldwide amount of business, so we handle all of their website traffic as far as I know. Um, who else do we have? There's this Honest Company is something that's like a healthcare thing. I think it's like baby products or facial products or something like that.
Okay.
Some celebrity like endorses that I forgot who it was. Uh, some
It sounds like one of the students. Jessica Alba.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. Yeah,
Okay,
so
nice.
we just recently I think 2 years ago we got their contract, and they they have so much order volume that it really stressed a lot of our processes. So we had to really learn the hard way about scalability and big data and how to process a lot of stuff over say like so one day of customers like honest orders made up for maybe Build a Bear in a month.
Wow.
So that's like it's a exaggeration, but that's kind of like how
Yeah.
you need to handle volume.
So
It's like
what's a
it can be
day
small and
in the
trickle
life
or really big.
what's a day in the life of Brad Pagel look like as far as the 9 to 5 is concerned? What do you do?
um, it varies. It really varies. Typically on a standard day, I get up, check my emails, check my Slack. We use Slack very heavily to communicate with fellow coworkers. And I can give the pandemic version, and I can also give the office version.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
whichever you think is more relevant.
Well, why don't you just do the pandemic version? Because how long are you in the pandemic version? Are you going back to the office anytime soon, or do you know?
I attempted to go back prior to the Delta strain getting out of control, uh, just because I needed a change up from living inside my house for like basically a year and not
Yeah.
really getting out much. So I needed a change of environment. So I tried to do that for a couple weeks. It was nice, but no one else was going into the office, so it was just me in there,
Yeah.
which is counterproductive because I do miss the office environment personally because I enjoy the social aspect of
Yeah.
just being around people and just being able to have face-to-face conversations when you go get a glass of water or a cup of coffee or something, or
Yeah.
if you need a quick, be like, hey, so and so, how do you do this one thing for code? You just forget something, and all you need to do is just throw something over the cubicle wall and get their attention.
Yeah. Do you
Um,
have a return date for certain yet, or is that still to be determined?
It is to be determined.
Yep.
Currently, we have been ordered to return all of our personal effects back to our houses so that they can basically convert the office space into a community driven style of workstations.
Okay.
So that's the plan. So
So let's give the 9 to 5 version of pandemic life, since
okay,
that's to be
so
determined
yeah,
when we go back.
wake up, check your emails, check your Slacks, and then depending on the day, you have a stand up, which is a short meeting to get a status update from your peers and also to give your status update and to also call out anything you may need from somebody else. Be like, hey, I'm stuck on this. Like, call out what we call blockers. So if you're blocked on a certain task, you
Yep.
call this out, and then it's especially helpful in a large meeting because somebody will volunteer typically to say like, oh, we can meet up after this and go through it. But otherwise, it's just saying what you're working on, what you plan to do, and what you got finished the day prior. Um, Previously, it was like every day we would do that. Now it's down to 2 days a week since it can get monotonous, just going through the motions. So we cut it down, and then after the status meeting, uh, we can have optional meetings to where you go in and groom tickets, and everything at my work is driven by a ticket system, and that's how we organize tasks and things to do. So if you have 5 tickets assigned to you, you should know which one should be done first, and you just start at that one and focus on it and work all the way through the requirements until it's finished, and then you send it off to be reviewed. So you finish your code, you push it up to Bitbucket, and you say, here's the changes. Everybody look at this, and if there's anything that's wrong, let me know. That's essentially how we, check each other's work.
Awesome. Awesome. So in an
And
8 hour day, how many hours of writing code are you doing?
oh, uh, not 8 hours.
Not
Never.
eight
It's
hours.
never. It's rare to really have a full 8 hour day, start to finish, writing code because there's a lot of administrative background stuff that
Four
goes with
hours, three
coding.
hours, six
Four,
hours.
4 to 6, I would say.
Okay.
On a very busy day, it'd be 6. On a very slow day, code-wise, it'd be maybe 3
Yeah.
even. Uh,
And what language or languages do you write?
the main one is C Sharp, so we're working with MVC at .NET, and we're moving to .NET Core.
Got it.
That's the next big thing, so I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome.
I also know a little bit of JavaScript, jQuery. We do code in SQL a lot. It's kind of like how we manage most of our data.
Yep.
Um, I think that's the main heavy hitters. Some
How
other,
many developers are on your team?
I think we're about 12 or 13. We just recently had some folks leave for better opportunities, but yeah, we're pretty small
Yep.
considering the amount of information that's flowing through our product,
Yeah,
though.
no kidding. When you're talking about those clients, I mean, to have 12 or 13
Yeah, they're
developers,
big.
that's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So thankfully, I'm just starting to get into that realm of the responsibility with the senior level. So I do feel for the coworkers I have to deal with the fires, so to speak, to put out, if something goes crazy in
Yeah,
production.
yeah. What and I'm not going to ask you anything about your specific salary, but what's been your observation of like what would expectations would you put for these new students like upon graduation and 3 to 5 years out? Like what would you advise them to shoot for? And what do you see in the industry salary wise?
Sure. Yeah, money's a big deal because it's kind of why I picked tech over music.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's been about 8 years since I started. So if anything, the salaries have increased because at least in the St. Louis area and most other places regarding tech, there's a deficit of talent or people that are good, solid coders. So you're going to be constantly headhunted if you just have a basic understanding of, object-oriented programming. So I would guess that starting out, you should look to make between 40 and 60,000 a year starting, and then after maybe a year and a half to 2 years into the field, you'll have an opportunity to jump to another position and make 15 to 20% more than that. That's the easiest way, unfortunately, in the tech industry to get big raises is to leave and go to a different uh, career or company, and that's just how it is. I don't know why, but
yeah.
and
No, I
it's
agree
also
completely, and I give the same advice. So it's good to hear from
yeah.
you. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not like in the olden days where you get rewarded with pensions and stuff. Now it's like, you go to different companies because either it's not working out with managerial staff or that you need to broaden your horizons and go to something that's more in line with your likes and dislikes, where you like that style of technology. So, for example, like get started with C sharp, and if you get stuck in some older coding languages like VB script or C++, and that's really legacy stuff. It's not current. It's definitely older. And if you don't like it, then you can start looking for other places that are more current. And that's another reason why our place is looking to increase our knowledge of .NET Core because it's newer technology. It's all
yeah.
about what's the newest and greatest thing that's being used by everybody. So so I said like 15, 20% after a 2 year jump, and then let's say 5 years in, you should probably be looking at somewhere between 70 and 90,000 a year. And then after 5 years, you start to really hit those six-figure numbers.
Wow.
So I'm looking to hopefully attain something in the low 100,000s.
Congratulations,
With
man.
yeah, it's kind of mind blowing, but
I'm
eight
happy
years
for you.
in,
That is
that
incredible.
that's kind of like you stick with it and you stick with the career and you keep training yourself and you got to ask for the raises yourself and really bring your value to the table. Otherwise, companies won't do that. No one's going to give you a handout. You kind of have to put together a portfolio as you work of accomplishments
And
and
that's with an associate's degree, to be clear. You don't have like a master's degree
no, no,
in
that's
software
yeah, like
architecture.
great point. My bachelor's in music performance has little to no influence on my uh, like performance reviews or anything like that, other than the simple fact that I stuck with a 4 year degree and got loaded with a bunch of debt.
Yep,
So,
yep, yep. So here's the two-part question. Congratulations on that, by the way. Here's the two-part question. What did you do as a student that you thought prepared you well for the industry? And what do you wish you would have done differently? Two questions.
uh, doing all of the hands-on work and doing it well, and finding anything that was hard, and then really working through it again. Um, I remember in your class I had a tough time with Java. That was probably my lowest grade was working through Java. And then when we went to C sharp, it was basically the same mindset but different syntax, and then everything started to click.
Yeah.
So if I had to do it again, I just work a little bit harder on anything that gave me trouble. Um, and also just using any downtime you have in the classroom, you should go on the internet and find anything that looks fun to try out, like tutorials, stuff on Udemy, Pluralsight, whatever Rankin gives you to teach yourself, you should definitely go for, because the more things you get kind of a head start on, the more things you can lay out on your resume. And as a beginner in the entry level stuff, the more things you have that you've tried, the more likely you'll get hired. And they're not looking for anybody that takes an associate's degree that's some kind of master of things. They just want to know that you have a basic understanding of fundamentals. So if you can shore up that at school, and Rankin's great for that, because I remember that we had a lot of time to spend in lab to code out stuff and work on projects versus the lectures. And lectures are great and all, but it depends on the person. But for me, I learned the most when I do things.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's great advice. That's great
mhm.
advice. So spend your time wisely in lab and try. It sounds like what you're saying.
Yeah, just
And to add to reiterate, when you're done with your lab assignment, spend your time wisely learning something beneficial, whether it be a tutorial online or a video series. Um, Try to pick up a new skill. So just repeating what you said there. Did I get that right?
exactly, yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So that's some really good advice. Any other advice you'd like to offer? We're going to kind of wrap this down and keep it within the 20-minute window or so. Any other advice for newbies starting out?
When you apply for jobs, it's like having a job. So expect to put in a lot of time putting out your resume, applying. And my younger brother is going through that same process right now as a data engineer. So he's leaving the rock climbing career path and moving to data analytics and stuff. And he's having a tough time just keeping track of all of his applications.
Yeah.
So when you begin the job hunt, expect a lot of work, and really give it a lot of effort, because just because you apply a lot and get denied a lot doesn't mean you're not a good developer. It's just simply finding that first little way to get in the door, and you probably have to do it maybe 30 applications before you get your first real interview, I would guess.
You
So be
you
ready
offer
for
some
that.
great advice, man. You really do. You know what? You sound like a teacher. You want to come teach?
No, I don't think you guys could afford me.
No, you're probably right.
Yeah,
You know.
you start too early in the morning for me.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned you're not a morning person yet. And,
No, oh gosh, yeah, I fell asleep a handful of times in your lectures.
no, we don't talk about that on video. Oh, it's recorded.
Oh no, you can edit that out.
All right, hey Brett, I really appreciate it, man. You're a great guy. Thank you so much. I hope this is valuable for my students and anyone who sees this. You're a great
Sure,
guy. You're a great person to know. Thank you so much.
you're welcome.
All right, man. Take care. Good talking to
You
you.
too.
Bye.
See ya.